Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel NCRT series. Today we are starting with a new chapter, that is chapter 10, Traders, Kings and the Pilgrims, how to find about the trade and traders. So how can you find about trade and traders? See, there were bowls and plates which were found from several archaeological sites throughout the subcontinent. So probably traders may have carried them from the places where they made to sell them at other places. And South India was famous for gold, spices and precious stones, and pepper is so famous in Roman Empire that they call it as a black gold. Next we shall see about new kingdoms along the coast. So the southern half of the subcontinent, that is marked by a long coastline with hills, plateaus and river valleys. Amongst the river valleys, Kaveri is the most fertile. As it was the most fertile, chiefs and kings used to control them. And we shall see what is Muvendar. Muvendar is mentioned in Sangam poems. So it's a Tamil word meaning three chiefs. And it is used for the heads of the three ruling families, the Cholas, Cheras and the Pandyas. And they were very powerful in South India around 2300 years ago. And each of these three chiefs had the two centers of power. One is inland, another one is on the coast. Puhar or the Kaveri Patnam was a part of the Cholas, and Madurai was the capital of Pandyas. In here, chief did not collected the taxes. Instead, they demanded and received the gifts and collected the tribute. Shatavahanas. This is a dynasty which became very popular in the Western India around 200 years ago. The most important ruler of the Shatavahana was the Gautami Putra Sri Shatakarani, and he was we could know about him by the inscription written by his mother Gautami Balhashri. And Gautami Putra Sri Shatakarani and Shatavahana rulers were known as the Lords of Dakshinapatha. Next we shall see about the story of Silk Route. So techniques of making silk route was first invented in China around 7000 years ago, and this method was closely guarded secret for thousands of years, and some people who used to go to China while coming back, they used to carry silk with them. So the path which they traveled, that is called as the Silk Route. And sometimes Chinese rulers sent gifts of silk to rulers in Iran and West Asia, and silk became a fashion amongst the rulers and rich people in Rome, and even it was expensive because they had to go all the way to China to bring them. So that was very expensive. And even some kings, they tried to control the large portions of this Silk Road because they could benefit from the taxes, tributes and gifts that were brought by the traders traveling along that route. So what in return they did? In return they protected those traders who used to pass in their kingdoms. They used to protect those traders from the robbers, attacks by the robbers. Then the best known ruler of who controlled that Silk Route, he is the Kushanas, who ruled over Central Asia and Northwest India around 2000 years ago. Peshawar and Mathura were the two major centers of power, and Kushanas were first among the earliest rulers of the subcontinent to issue the gold coins. Next, we shall see about the spread of Buddhism. The most famous Kushana ruler was the Kanishka, and he ruled around 1900 years ago. And what is Buddha Charita? Buddha Charita is the biography of the Buddha composed by a poet. His name is Ashwagosha. And later new form of Buddhism, that is known as the Mahayana Buddhism, developed, and there were two features in this Mahayana Buddhism. In the first feature was Buddha's presence was shown in the sculpture by using certain signs, and now the statues of Buddhas were made. You could see many statues in Mathura. Next, second feature was the change was a belief in the bodhisattvas, like the persons who had attained enlightenment. Once they had attained enlightenment, they could live in a complete isolation and meditate in peace. But instead of doing that, they remained in the world to teach and help other people. The worship of bodhisattvas became very popular and spread throughout the Central Asia, China, and later to Korean and Japan as well. And Buddhism spread to western southern India, where dozens of caves we could see are hollowed out of the hills for monks to live in. And some of these caves were made on the orders of kings and queens, others were made on the orders of merchants and farmers, and they were often located near passes through the Western Ghats. And Buddhism also spread southeastwards to Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Thailand, other parts of Southeast Asia, including Indonesia. And the older form of the Buddhism is known as the Theravada Buddhism. In the image, you could see this is a sculpture from the stupa at Sanchi. This image shows indicates that the Buddha had attained enlightenment while meditating. And the first image shows the Buddha from Mathura, and this is the image of Buddha from Taxila. And it's a cave at Karle, Maharashtra. The quest of the pilgrims. So, who are pilgrims? Pilgrims are men and women who undertake journeys to holy places in order to offer the worship. I've written the three pilgrims' name: Fogzian, Xunzang, and Aikwing. So Faxian, he came to the subcontinent about 1600 years ago, and Zhuangzang came around 1400 years ago, and Aiking, he came about 50 years after Zhuangzang. So each of these pilgrims, they left an account of their journey when they went back, when they traveled back to their countries. We shall see how Zhuangzang went back to his country. So Zhuangzang, he took the land route back to China, and he carried with him the statues of Buddha that is made up of gold, silver, and sandalwood, and over 600 manuscripts that were loaded on the back of 20 horses. On the way, 50 manuscripts were lost when the boat on which he was crossing the Indus capsized. Then he spent rest of his life translating the remaining manuscripts from Sanskrit to Chinese. So this was the Zhuangzang story. Coming to the Faxian, Faxian began his journey back home from Bengal. So while going back, he started from Bengal. There he boarded a ship that is belonging to some merchants. They had barely traveled for 2 days and they got caught in a storm. And the merchants, what they did, they began throwing all their merchandise from the boat so that in order to lighten that boat load. So even he threw his personal belongings, but Faxian, he didn't throw the books and the statues of Buddha that he had collected here. And this is how he went back to China. Next. So Nalanda. Nalanda is the most famous Buddhist monastery and beginning of Bhakti. So what is Bhakti? Bhakti, that comes from the Sanskrit term bhaj, meaning to divide or share. So this suggests an intimate two-way relationship between the deity and the devotee. Bhakti is directed towards a Bhagavat, which is often translated as the God, but also means one who possesses and shares bhaga, literally good fortune or a bliss. So the devotee, known as the Bhakta or a Bhagavata, shares his or a chosen deity bhaga. So Hindu. The word Hindu, like the term India, is derived from the river Indus. It was used by the Arabs and the Iranians to refer to the people who lived in the east of the river and to their cultural practices, including the religious beliefs. So this is Vishnu or the Varaha, and it is an image from Iran, Madhya Pradesh, and this image says that Vishnu took the shape of a boar in order to rescue the earth, which had sunk into water, and here the earth is shown as a woman. So yeah, we shall see some points. Jesus Christ was born in the Bethlehem, which was the part of Roman Empire, and the Christians of Kerala, they are known as the Syrian Christians because they probably come from the West Asia, and they are amongst the oldest Christian communities in the world. So Syrian Christians, they are the among the oldest Christian communities in the world. So yeah, this was all about this chapter, and all these notes are available in my Instagram ID UPSC Zone. Please do follow it, link in the description. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share and subscribe my channel NCERT series, and do press the bell icon to get the notification as soon as I upload any of the videos. Thank you so much.